Hello YouTube, this is AugustusLarch. I have to speak about current events lately. The internet, the White House released a press release or had a press conference or something and said that they may consider opening up the U.S. Strategic oil reserves. There's emergency reserves in the country. And they might consider putting those on the market. What a surprise. Let me tell you what, crude oil can't be stored. There's not big tanks of oil sitting somewhere for a reserve, because oil is organic, and if you have it out in the air and it's warm, it will break down and rot, and it won't be worth anything because it's organic and bacteria eat it. So all that reserve they're talking about is oil that's in the ground in wells that had got a pump attached to them, and they just don't run the pump. And they must have gave them some kind of incentive for the people who own the fields or whatever, or have oil rights, to quit pumping. And people, you may look up Lindsey Williams and thing at some point, and he has a bunch of inside information from the oil companies that they don't like to develop the oil. Even if they know there's a field, they don't sink wells into it. They don't try to strike wells and get it pumping, because people always say I'm a conspiracy nut. No, I'm an agenda. I'm a student of the agenda out there. This is a published agenda. And to the average person, when Obama says, oh, there's oil reserves, they think, oh, there's a big tank, and they'll start refining that. No. It's in the ground, and they've got pumps hooked up to it and pipelines and all that. And the pipelines are dry and the pumps aren't running. And there's people in the United States that own mineral rights on that, and they get royalties, and they get nothing when it's not pumping, unless the government strikes them a deal or something like that. But the whole reason that, so the public is out there, and they have no idea that there's this big, well-developed oil field in America, in the United States, okay, that they just don't use. And the whole purpose of this is there's a worldwide agenda for people. They have a business club or something, or it's a cartel is what it is. That's the best thing you can call it. And the British and the Americans are in cahoots with each other, and their whole reason why they want Middle East oil is so the greater Europe can't have it. There's a competition thing there. They might be all friends in front of the cameras, but in the back rooms there's some pretty cutthroat dealing going on. You can be rest assured on that. And what they like to do is squeeze greater Europe, because little England right there, they're in a pretty good strategic position there, and they've had all this prestige in the past that has kind of dwindled, and they got their last little bit of leverage is that they got this deal with the Americans that they'll get a shipping company and have a PR campaign for the public saying, we're running out of oil everywhere, but the only place we can find it is Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. So we've been getting it from there. Well, actually, in the Americas, they got plenty of oil. In South America, there is plenty of oil. In Canada, there's like a lot of oil and natural gas. In Alaska, there's much undeveloped fields. In Oklahoma, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, there is oil fields that are ready for production, but they just don't produce. They shut it down so they can feign a shortage and say, we're going to get I developed a shipping company. Well, I got to charge you for shipping it. So they add on costs to all the petroleum products, because they're a cartel, and it should be against the law, but nobody checks up on them. They said, well, I know this guy down the road, and he has an oil well, and you're not pumping it. No, you don't hear that on the news, do you? Couldn't we ship it and reduce the shipping costs and the production and all of this and save money? No. We can't. We're going to shut down that oil well in your backyard. And I've got my buddy, he's got a shipping company, and he gives me kickbacks if I buy his oil from him, because he has to ship it all the way over from the Middle East. And now we got this Tunisia, and Middle East is on fire. And it's probably caused by some kind of a MI6 CIA operations. I mean, it's pretty much, if you're any kind of got any kind of intuition in your being, that's pretty much a fact that they've been destabilizing things. They might say, oh, we're trying to stabilize the region. You can just believe that they're trying to destabilize the region. So they can leverage the public in thinking, oh my goodness, now we don't have that Middle East oil. They're not running their fields anymore. So we got these oil reserves, but they're emergency oil reserves. And they don't tell you how much of it they have. That they probably could pump it for years and years and years, centuries, and never get, the oil would still be there. There's also oil that's being produced all the time. They say a non-renewable resource. Well, really, where did that oil we're pumping now come from? You're saying it came from dead animals and plants back in the prehistoric times. Well, there's been dead animals and plants dying every day since the prehistoric times to the present day. Wouldn't it follow that the oil that we're using now is being replenished continuously in a cycle? Maybe. Last time I checked on this planet, there's a lot of vegetation and stuff growing around, and insects and birdies and foxes running around on the planet, earthworms, a bunch of organic living stuff that's been, since the prehistoric times until now, been living and producing oil. So don't give me that crap, alright? This is AugustusLarch. I'm ruminating through my being and bringing you along for the ride. This is AugustusLarch. Thank you for watching YouTube.